It's time for the B-A-Q-A. A, the B-A-Q-A. What you say? The B-A-Q-A with Mandette. The B-A-Q-A with Tiffany. The B-A-Q-A. Hey, Mandra, how you doing, girl?
I can't wait to get into these questions. I look forward to this Friday episode so much. And y'all are so generous sending us in your questions.
Girl.
I feel like while you're at it, why not go to iTunes and leave us a review? Because you know how much we charge to answer your questions?
$0.
$0. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a moment, go to iTunes, leave us a review, or whatever they call it now, Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. Please do. We read them all and they matter so much. And we just want to flood the review system in the Apple algorithm. So they just know that BA fam is here and always strong.
You want to read like one or two real quick, Mandra? Remember we said we were going to do that.
Reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Just to tell the girls, see, we like you, shout them out.
Why not? Let's do one right now. Okay. This one, it was just from this past week. Happy Listener 2009 said it's an inspiring conversation. It's been great to see this podcast evolve. I enjoy the current format of a longer topic covered Wednesday and shorter Q&A Friday. That's us right now. I can't believe how much has happened for Mandy and Tiffany over time. Thank you both for being open, honest, and vulnerable through the good and not so good times. I've learned so much from the podcast and Tiffany's book. Keep teaching.
Aw, we love
Wow,
that.
I needed to hear that little pep talk right before I bared my soul on this Wednesday episode. And then another from last week as well, from the Willie 30 says, I absolutely love my girls, Mandy and Tiffany. This podcast is very informative, fun, and just real life.
Oh, I love that.
Maybe
oh, see, if you guys do reviews, we might read you on here. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
read you in a
saying?
good way. Not read you in a sassy way.
Keep in mind, it's while we do this, BA fam. But
yes.
Let's get into the questions because we do have some juicy money questions.
But quick disclaimer, right? Remember, guys, we are not your attorney. We're not your financial advisor. Right. We're not your doctor, lawyer, none of that. We are two smart, adorable, beautiful even, brown girls on the interwebs who like answering business, career, and money questions. So you're going to take it with the smallest grain of salt and lean into the people you pay. Okay.
I love it. Thank you for that, Tiffany, keeping us out of a courtroom drama every Friday. All right, let's start with listener who just wants to go by T. How succinct. Hello, ladies. T says, it is such a pleasure writing you. I've been a listener for many years, and I look forward to hearing from y'all 2 times a week. From fellow listener Ronla's question back in January on the BA Q&A made me think about my own financial situation. We should have looked up Ronla's question. Anyhow, a series of life events has taken my credit score from 845 in 2021 to 605 today. Now that I'm in a position to pay off my debts and repair my credit score, I wonder, do I pay off balances in one lump sum payment or spread them out so as to show a record of regular steady payments? Thank you. Very much looking forward to your advice and insights. Ooh, I know you all over this, Tiffany.
Girl, because just last night...
Remind them.
Well, me and my friend Nativa, the credit nista, so on the budget nista, the credit nista, she literally is the smartest person I know about credit. I mean, she goes to like the government meetings, she goes to the trainings, all things credit, and she taught a class just last night, so it's fresh in the cranium, if you will. And if Nativa's here, I feel very confident. She was like, pay it off. She said basically that, yes, I understand having kind of like showing that, you're making your payments monthly, that although there's a benefit to that the bigger benefit is I'm assuming that if your score dropped that low is because you're carrying over 30% of like your utilization. Utilization is how much credit you could borrow versus how much credit you are borrowing. So let's just say you have a credit card, $100 limit, and you have a $90 balance. Your utilization is 90% on that card. And so utilization is 30% of your score. And payment history is 35%. And so what you're thinking about is like, I can pay off, regularly. But the problem is it will keep your utilization, I'm assuming, based upon how far you dropped, at such a high place that it offsets any benefit from paying regularly over the next few months. So what I would do is, and I'm assuming this is what Natifa would suggest as well, because she said it like last night on our class together, is to pay that bad boy off. In doing so, you should see a jump fairly quickly in doing so. That like having, so Nativa said something really interesting. I know you've heard, and I've said this rule before, and she said that it's a bit outdated, this 30% rule, where you want to keep your credit balance under 30% of the limit. And she said that actually that it came directly from the credit bureaus, that they weren't being so literal. They basically were like, well, you really don't want to go over 30% of what someone has lent to you, but that's not a hard and fast rule. That if you're close to 30%, it is bringing down your score still. And so she was really like, you want to be in that 5 to 10% and then paying it off every month in full. And even lower, if you want to see your score move, you want to be in the 1 to 2%, like 1 to 3% space. So really, you want to be basically paid off every month. Yes, go ahead, man.
Miss Tiffany, can I share?
Yes.
I think I've talked about, I took out a 0% balance transfer card for some credit card debt while I was launching the business. I was like, let me just move this over and keep my cash flow a little bit better. And I will attest to that because my credit score did drop while I had that that balance transfer, and the balance transfer promo period is going to be up in this coming November. So next month. And I was so petrified because I knew there was a deferred interest clause. Yes. And I was not petrified, but I'm just like, I'm going to pay it off. I'm going to pay it off. But because I wanted my cash flow to be fine, I was like, I'm going to do it in one lump sum, when we get closer. And I finally did. And my credit score jumped like 25 points.
That's huge.
I think I was still I was at 700 and I think it's back up to the high not even 25, maybe more. It's back up into the high 700. So for sure, when you pay it down, that big lump sum, it is an instant boost to your credit score.
Yeah. And I just want to say, you know what? Congratulations to you, because I know you probably took like an emotional hit from 845, which is you're only 5 points away from literally like the top score as far as FICO is concerned, to 605, which, is really considered a credit score that's not doing quite as well. So to be able to get yourself together to a position where you could pay it off in full, that's not a small thing. So I hope you take a moment to say, snaps all around for me. I did it. And my name's T. You see what I did for you? Thanks for sharing, T. Should we take a quick break? Oh, I want to do a little segment, but we're going to talk about when we come back, called, what do we say? Look, I forgot already. Like, when we come back, we're going to take a break and then we're going to remember.
She's going to tell me so I remember.
We'll be right back for a break and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, we're back, but my memory's still not back. Remember when we taped the Wednesday episode, where you and I were just kind of sharing all of our financial shenanigans, and we said, sometimes I don't need you to fix it. I just want to be able to like say the thing.
Oh, yes. Just say the thing out loud and to do like a word vomit. Yes. And you don't want a solution. Yes. You're just wanting to get it off your chest and so you feel lighter. Share the burden of knowledge.
So like, what should we call that? Because I think that would be nice every once in a while to do, like, get it off your chest, or
okay.
The
BA confessional.
Ooh, look at you. Girl, you was a journalist or whatever. I love that. So BA we're going to start like first of all, me and Mandy will likely forget, but
are we going to read them?
I think so, because when no names, always anonymous.
Yeah, always anonymous.
And so, don't put like, well, I live in New Jersey on and I have 3, like, so.
Tiffany, stop that. Imani, cut that out.
Cut that out. Cut that out.
You did it again. It's like the intrusive thought keeps coming.
It's like, okay, so make sure that you don't have any things in there. Like, I work at IBM next to my friend Melissa, and she gets on my you want to make sure that whatever your confessional is, in mark it BA confessional, so we know. This means you just want us to read it out loud because you just want someone to tell. You just want to bring it out, and we're not going to offer any feedback, anything. We're just going to read it without judgment, without comment. Okay. Sometimes if you listen to our Wednesday episode prior, me and Mandy we had our confessionals ourselves. So go ahead and listen. And so
sometimes you're in a shitty situation and even you know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I know how to get out. I know exactly what I need to do as far as my own business, financials, and taxes and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't make the going through it any less hard. And people don't know that you're going through it. So saying it out loud, it doesn't fix the problem, but it makes you feel lighter. I feel lighter having told Tiffany and, thousands of y'all who are listening, who didn't need to know my business, but here you are. And that's the promise I made you when I started this show. Yeah. So we hope that will, give you a place to just whisper your little dirty financial secrets. Okay.
Yes.
Tell us about the debt that you got. Ooh. You don't have to be perfect for us. Be vulnerable. Like,
tell
show us
about that. Because that like that thing you bought that your partner is like, what? Yeah. That they don't know. We want to know.
We want to know. Or, no, honestly, did like you hide something from your partner that you bought? I might have decreased the price of that Pottery Barn bedding by about $200 when husband asked me how much it was. Why does it matter? We needed it. Yes, I love that. Be a confessional.
My one of the things I learned from my business coach Zion and even my therapist Dr. Green is that one of the ways to release shame is to give voice to it. And so we want to just provide a space where you can give voice to some of the things that you might be ashamed of, because we're not going to judge you here. We're going to read it and be like, well, I hope you take a woosah and a breather. And I hope that hearing your confession out loud gave you a little bit of like, because sometimes hearing it out loud, you're like, it's actually it's not as crazy as I thought. So be a confessional. We don't have one this week, but we want to start to add that in every once in a while when you guys, just make sure you mark it, be a confessional. So we know that you're not wanting solutions. You just want to give voice to something that's happening to you.
Yes. I love that.
All right. Next question.
You want to read this one?
Yes. This is from... Okay, this doesn't seem bad. I was like, I think I can use her name. Hey, Robin. She says, hey, ladies, question for you. I'm in the process of signing up with a new internet provider. Okay. I'm being offered $10 off my monthly bill if I set up direct debit from a bank account. I've noticed this is becoming a trend. It is. And I'm tempted to set up a checking account specifically for only these types of transactions to take advantage of the discounts. Okay. Thoughts? P.S. This comes from a place of being super freaked out about information and identity theft. Thank you. You guys are heart. So what you say, Mandy?
Well, I think it's interesting and kind of strange that they are incentivizing a debit transaction. I'm guessing it's because they don't want the processing fees that credit card issuers charge them, and they're trying to think about their bottom line and what's best for them. And, $10 honestly is a lot of money when you think about it. I mean, it could be like 10. I feel like that's 10% of the average credit. I mean, not credit card, cable bill, like $100.
$80 a month, 70 or 80. Yeah.
And if you want premium channels, you want Telemundo, that's cost extra. Ask my in-laws. Yeah. So I can see how that could be tempting. I think in this case, if you have a bank account that will just allow you to create for free an extra bank account, you could create it. Like if you have a checking account, for example, you could create another sub checking account and it wouldn't cost anything, but you get a new account number and a separate thing. And then as far as like, if you're worried about identity theft and then taking your identity and then emptying your checking account, which is a real thing that can happen. Yes. And unfortunately, when they take your cash, it's like you may have some protection through your, checking account. As far as like identity theft and fraud for taking the money out, but you have to catch it mostly to get the whole benefit. You have to catch it within like 60 days if you want all of the money back. And it can be a little bit more challenging than if it were a credit card.
There's no FDIC insurance for checking accounts?
So FDIC insurance is like if the bank loses your money.
Oh, that's
FDIC insurance isn't for like fraud.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. And I used to know this verbatim because when I was running a content team for personal finance sites, we would update this language all the time.
Okay.
But so I would say, I know generally that credit cards, they have the zero liability fraud insurance. That's like a very standard benefit now. Which means if you're defrauded, you're not going to owe us the money. With a checking account, if you're defrauded, you may not owe back the money. Sorry, you may not, you may be able to get your money back, but you have to typically catch it sometimes within 60 days or 30 days. And it may not be all of it. And it may be just more of a workaround, to get it. So it's a little bit trickier. That's why typically they'll advise you to we'll advise you to use a credit card for that type of thing. But I feel like to get around it, you could open a sub checking account, just tie the payment to that one account and make sure you got the money in there each month, for your payment. Yeah, that's what I'll say.
And then
what do you think? You looking up the latest on the identity theft for checking accounts? I think we should.
No, what I did, I'm looking up, I'm not sure if this is still, because I remember a few years ago, Credit Sesame actually launched this first totally free credit and identity protection service. I remember because they reached out to me and I work with them. I'm trying to see.
Credit Sesame.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it's still there. If they still have it, because they had it, and I remember it was up to $50,000, which was great. And this was free, so you sign up for a free Credit Sesame account.
I don't know, Tiff. Is Credit Sesame even around anymore?
I know, so I'm looking it up now, child.
Because these platforms, you want to feel
Credit
old.
Sesame, Credit Sesame still it still is around.
Okay,
but
I see.
I'm just wondering if they still have the, oh my gosh, the identity theft protection, because it used to be free. Like I said, that was some years ago. I'm just looking to see. I'm trying to see on their site, because I remember I thought it was really great. It was like I said, it was up to $50,000 that you get free. They do have free credit monitoring, and so I will say that about Credit Sesame. That still is true, and they are still around. I'm looking on here now. I just don't know if they have the identity theft protection, but they do have credit monitoring. Safeguard your credit. Credit monitoring helps protect your identity. I'm looking here. Support your finances, can help you. Okay. Is our credit monitoring really free? Yes. With your Credit Sesame account, you get TransUnion credit monitoring for free. You also get free daily credit score refreshes, so you always know where you stand. Okay, well, at the very least, with Credit Sesame, you get free credit monitoring. A lot of places offer that, but I, dig a little deeper to see if they not only offer credit monitoring, but the identity theft protection, because they had that before and it was incredible. I just don't know if they still have
two-factor authentication. Let's not if you're talking about how to prevent someone from logging into your account, they get your account details. Two-factor authentication goes a long way to protecting even your passwords and things like that. It sounds simple, but if you don't have two-factor authentication turned on for your banks, get that turned on. Even Face ID, login, something like that. But I love how easy it is when you do the two-factor authentication and then it texts your phone. And with the iPhone now, you got this feature. Do they have that with the Android? I don't know. But when you're in the app, it'll already read your text message and just give you the number. It's like, do you want to copy and paste this number? So you don't have to go to the text, remember the number, come back to the page and type it in. You just automatically. So it's so easy and it's such a simple thing to do too.
And just so because I found it. So I'm on security.org, and they reviewed Credit Sesame, I think as of this year. This is what they like: basic credit and identity monitoring, multi-factor authentication that you're just talking about, Mandy. And they do have identity theft insurance. What I love, even if you don't pay for a plan, because they do have a plan, you can be eligible for up to $1 million in reimbursement if your identity gets stolen. Ciao. And so what they don't like is that shaky privacy policy and jurisdiction. Let's see. Credit Sesame isn't a good choice for the privacy concern. Oh, well, there you go. Chunky sign up and limited customer support. So this is their bottom line. Yeah, meaning it's probably hard to sign up. They gave it a rating of 8.7 out of 10. It says, not only did Credit Sesame give us monthly credit updates from all three bureaus, we also got identity theft insurance. If our identities were stolen, we could have gotten reimbursed up to $1 million. So there's just something to take a look at. Potentially they also have LifeLock is one of those ones. If you don't have LifeLock, child, I have LifeLock. Okay. I love LifeLock. It has helped me so many times because LifeLock, but you do pay for LifeLock. I think I paid $10 or $20 a month, and because people have tried to steal my identity before, and LifeLock would be like, girl, this you? Send me a text. I'm like, it's not. And so if you're concerned in general, I wouldn't so much worry about this bank account. I would be thinking, if I'm worried in general, that I would have signed up. Maybe that $10 you're saving, you put it toward a LifeLock or to pay for identity theft, program. Quite honestly, to me, it's worth it, because at one point it was happening a lot. Someone was trying, and once since I got LifeLock, that completely stopped. With LifeLock, I'm able to freeze my accounts, which I did when Jarrell passed away. Anjali, my financial advisor, was right away freeze his credit, because people will look up obituaries and try to know that you're grieving. Yes. And try to
goodness.
go with. So I went into LifeLock because we had LifeLock together, froze all of his accounts and his social security number. I just happen to like LifeLock because I've been using it now for a number. I don't work with them or anything. I've been using it now for a number of years. And it doesn't hurt to get a free Credit Sesame account, just to have that on the back burner too. Get that for free, but then LifeLock or another like system like that you pay.
She was like, dang, I want to eat Chipotle once a month.
I know. So I get it, but it's like you want to eat Chipotle, or you want to make sure that you actually have Chipotle money in the future.
I'm hungry. Okay, I did want to catch, because I left this an open-ended thing, and I don't like doing that. But I did bring up the idea of what happens if you have unauthorized purchases on your debit account, like your checking account. And I talked about the limit and like if you have to, that you generally do need to contact your bank within a certain time frame. But I found that the updated info from U.S. News and World Report. Oh, edited by a former freelancer of mine. Okay, anyway. So, in most cases, federal law limits your liability for unauthorized debit card purchases to $50, provided you report the fraud within 2 business days of discovering it. If you report the debit card fraud after 2 business days, but less than 60 calendar days, you could be liable for up to $500. And if you don't report the fraud within 60 calendar days of receiving your statement, you could be liable for any amount stolen from your account. So this is why it's important to regularly review your bank statements, and which the tools that Tiffany's talking about, like if you get a Credit Karma or one of these like monitoring systems, or what I do is, and I don't care how annoying it is, every time I use my credit card or my checking, I don't usually use debit. When I do, I get an email with the transaction. So just like a quick skim through each day, I go through my email and I'm like, oh yeah, my husband went and got his, Metro card reloaded. I guess that was on me this month. That's fine. Or he went to Potbelly again. Okay. Yeah.
My Amex does it. It sends me a text.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. I have it for my business cards, and it quote unquote is annoying, but not really. Cause I'm like, wait, what? And sometimes I'm like, we still use that company? No. Then I'll hit up George, my CFO, and be like, George, why do we still work with? So yeah, that's actually a great, I never thought about that, to not just do it for my business, but for my personal. Yeah. So that's really great. Yes. Like having a text or email sent to you. So you're like, wait, who charged what? No.
Since someone in New Orleans like spent $30 on my Fandango account on movie tickets, I was like, not again. Not again. Me, not ever.
Not up in my house.
Not ever. All right. Well, good question, actually. Yes. A question that is tale as old as time, but also it's good to look up the most recent and see that, that liability really hasn't changed for checking accounts. So use your credit cards, y'all.
If you have questions, ask us.
Or confessions.
Yes.
Ooh.
Questions or confessions. What you gonna do? Questions or confessions. We're here for you. Questions or confessions on the BAQ.
You can tell that we're the PBS generation. Because everything had like a pithy little jingle to open it up.
I know. All right, y'all. But yes, if you do, certainly you can go to the BApodcast.com. Oh, no. Look at me. BrownAmbitionPodcast.com.
Google Brown Ambition. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, you just Google it. And just like, however, Instagram, Twitter, our site, just like, hit us up and ask us questions about business, career, personal finances, whatever, child. And we're here for you. Okay. All right. Until next week.
Till next week. Bye.
Bye.